Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of season 5 of the UNtriggered Parenting Podcast. I actually can't believe it's season 5, but I'm so excited to be back with you, sharing with you, talking to you. I really hope you will enjoy this season, have lots of amazing conversations coming up for you. And yes, welcome back. I hope your 2025 has started off amazing and is already everything you wanted it to be. And let's dive into this week's episode. So today I wanted this episode to be more of a sort of reflective episode where I'm just really looking back on all the things that I thought I knew when I became a parent. And people obviously say that parenting changes you, has a profound effect on you, on your how you see yourself, how you see the world. And obviously that's really true, and it has rang true for me as well. But I wanted to sort of flip this that on its head and talk more about the way parenting has influenced how I see the world and how I show up in the world. And I have been reflecting on this for a while, and I thought I would love to share some of my thoughts with you on that. So today's episode really is what parenting has taught me about life. So, and I think the first thing that it's taught me is just how much more capable I am and you are than we realize, how much more love we have to give in our hearts. I have 4 children. With every single child, wherever I think my heart is full, another child comes along and my heart is even more full. So I just did not know the capacity I had to love. And just realizing how much more capable we are than we realize. The responsibilities of parenting, it's a lot. We're pushed to our limits. We have to do more than we think we can, and there's no choice really in that matter. When our children need us, we have to give to them. When they wake up in the night, we have to go to them. If they're hungry, they need to be fed. There isn't that thing of waiting to feel motivated. With parenting, you can't wait to feel motivated. You can't wait to feel like doing it. It's just you have to get it done. And that's an incredible quality, I think, that we can use in life in general, because quite often we put things off because we just don't feel it. And parenting has shown me that it's not about feeling it. It's just really having that ability to push through, even when it's difficult. The way that parenting has pushed me to my limits and over my limits, really, and realizing that that's really made me develop personally, improving myself, learning how to balance things, time management. These are all incredible skills and qualities that have served me in life in general, just giving me a stronger sense of purpose, prioritization as well, and just trying to figure out how you're going to do the things that you need to get done and making those things happen without waiting for that motivation, for that I don't feel like it, what am I going to feel like it, just getting the things done that need to be done. Just an incredible quality. And also I was thinking about how your surroundings have such a big impact on how your day goes, how your life goes, how you show up. Obviously, if your house is chaotic, that might result in chaotic emotions. I think every parent understands that when things aren't quite right at home, that comes out in how you behave and how your children behave. It kind of dictates your success really in life. And I think if you take it back to parenting, it dictates the way your day goes. I know for me, I really struggle to operate in when things are really chaotic. And obviously, as a parent, you have to make do with some level of chaos, let's be honest. But just trying to sort of have a calm home environment. And that all starts with how everything is set up in the home. Now, obviously, like I said, there's mess that comes with children. I'm not talking about having a pristine, everything organized all the time home. But most of the time, that really does help you show up differently in your home. It helps declutter your mind when your space is decluttered. If you feel more in control, and on top of things when your home is like that. And that really dictates how you show up mentally. And as we know, our children pick up on our emotions. So if we're more balanced, if the home is more balanced, our children are more likely to be balanced as well. So that was an incredibly sort of light bulb moment for me. And this is a big one, just the importance of emotional intelligence and emotional regulation. I think that a lot of us think when we think about emotional regulation in parenting, we think about our children, how to get them to calm down, how to get them to stop their tantrums or not overreact to every little thing. But actually, it has a lot to do with ourselves as well. I saw a quote somewhere, and I'm not going to remember it verbatim, but it was just about not knowing that the hardest part of parenting would be controlling yourself, not controlling your children, and I found that to be true. Working on my emotional maturity, intelligence has really served me in all areas of my life. When you're able to control how you react, not overreact, be used to sort of responding to things as they happen, as opposed to reacting to them, not letting your feelings control you, being understanding that you control how you respond to things. Incredibly, incredibly important as we go through life. And you feel like you're in control of your life because you're in control of your emotions. And, taking that time to sort of sit back and think about why things trigger you. What is it about what that person said that triggered you at work or in your relationships with your siblings or your parents? What is behind those triggers? What can you learn from them? And if something is setting you off, that just shows you that that's an area that you need to work on. There's something there that needs your attention. And again, that's incredibly important for self actualization, self reflection, self growth and personal development. And these are the questions that I feel like I've been able to ask myself more as I've become a parent, and really, really using that pause that I'm making myself take before I react to something. And instead asking, what is this trigger, this reaction, this wound? What is it trying to teach me? And the other thing about emotional intelligence and regulation is just being a parent has, I think, increased my level of empathy and compassion. We're, having to consider our children's thoughts, their feelings, and their needs. So this will obviously heighten your sense of empathy, and that can translate into other interactions with other people. There's nothing this world needs more than compassion and more compassionate relationships. So for me, that was a really, really positive outcome and result that I've seen from my parenting and showing up in the world as well. The other thing I was thinking about was just relationships, really, that relationship you have with your children and how to nurture that relationship and the foundational element of trust and communication and empathy and how that is the basis of all relationships, and if you nurture that in your children, hopefully you're learning the skills to nurture that with your relationships with other people, your colleagues, siblings, parents. And, as we know, parenting does demand a lot or constant collaboration and negotiation, especially with toddlers. And, practicing those skills translate with maintaining and strengthening adult relationships, parents, friends, extended family. So these are all skills that we're using in our parenting that has such a positive effect with the relationships that are in our wider circles as well. So this next thing that I was thinking about is how this whole thing of sort of working hard now and then reaping the rewards later. To me, really, that's what parenting is all about for me anyway, because I've always believed that what you're teaching your children now, the proof will be when they're adults, how they are, how they show up in this world, how they, when they take what you've taught them and how they put that into their own lives. And we won't see that. We won't see the results and the effects of that till they're sort of in their adulthood. So everything that you're instilling in our children, in my children, your children, everything that we're teaching them now is sort of kind of a wait and see game. And I always say, we're parenting for the future, not for right now. And to be honest, right now we're just trying to get through the days, really. And that will be really interesting to see, how they've taken on what you've taught them, or how they'll deal with really the things that you didn't actually mean to teach them or didn't want them to learn. But we all have our wounds, we all have our traumas, and so really, it's a game of patience and of waiting, and understanding that raising children takes time, and not to sort of get discouraged as well when you feel like something you're doing isn't working, but thinking to yourself, you know what, just keep going, have that patience, that perseverance, and hopefully, you will see the results as the years come. So that's an important quality as well, because in life, often you might put in work in things and you might not see the rewards straight away, but that doesn't mean you give up. That means you keep going, you press in, you persevere, and life really is all about perseverance. So that's an important quality too. And this next one, it's about just not trying to keep up with the Joneses, not trying to keep up with what everybody else is doing, with the latest sort of parenting fad, because it really is the quickest way to burnout. And that's the same in life in general. When you're trying to keep up with what other people are doing, keeping up with what people are doing on social media, the latest fashions, you can end up burning yourself out, and a lot of the things you might realize that don't even align with your values, with how you want to live, but you might have convinced yourself that somehow this is how you should be doing it and this is what you should be doing. And, it burns you out. It makes you live inauthentically. And it's really important to find your own pace in parenting and in life and work at your own pace so that you don't get burnt out, and also that you also stay true and authentic to yourself and live according to your values, because ultimately that's the way to find more peace in your life, is living authentically. And we obviously want to teach this to our children, and we obviously need to model this as well, so that's how they will learn that. And the next one is accepting what is. Now, I think a lot of parents might relate to this, where it shows up in parenting, where you might wish things were different. You might wish your child was different. Sometimes we get the child that we were not expecting. um, we might think that our children are going to be exactly like we are, and your child might, as they grow up, show you that they're not like you at all. Maybe you're sporty and they're not. Maybe they love to read and you don't, or vice versa. Or you are really academic and they're not academic at all. And sometimes it can be really hard to sort of accept that they're not how you are, and that they're their own individual being with their own hopes, their own dreams. And it's okay to admit that you wanted them a certain way, but it's really, really important to accept how they are and who they are. And in life in general, it's important to accept what is. Does not mean that you can't work to change certain things that can be changed, but it's that balance, that delicate dance of, working to change what you can change, but accepting what is out of your hands. And the truth is, a lot of things in life are out of our hands. So let's just focus on what we can control, and let go of that anxiety and that sort of angst about the things that we can't control. So that's one really important thing that parenting has taught me. And I think the last one is just the power of leading by example. When you're a parent, you are the leader in your home, you're in charge. Your children look to you. They're looking at all your sort of micro behaviors, how you react and respond to frustration, happiness, joy, how you look after yourself. And that's how they will in turn behave. So, just the power of self awareness and reflection, because it's a natural part of parenting that children are going to look to you, are going to mirror your behavior. So are you promoting, are you reflecting what your values are? Self-analysis can lead to deeper understanding of, your motivations, your desires, and that can really have the positive influence of encouraging continuous self-improvement. So it's important to continue to have that self-awareness, so that you're always trying to sort of better yourself while at the same time accepting yourself, because this is what our children look for, look to. So again, how are we showing up in the world? How are we showing up in the workplace, in our families, in our friend circles? Are we leading by example, or are we always looking at other people to change, to be different? There really is power in taking that responsibility upon yourself and saying, you know what, change starts with me. What can I do that's going to sort of change the way that this situation is going, this conversation is going, and knowing that you have some sort of power when it comes to that. And that's really important to understand too. And the other thing is this is linked to what I've just said, is just having your legacy and influence. When you have children, they are your legacy. And again, what are we teaching them? Understanding the impacts that our actions have on shaping their values and their future. And it's a great responsibility, and being more mindful of that. And but again, realizing that we have that same influence in our circles, where we mix, where we work, in our families. What are we leaving? What are we teaching the people around us? What are we instilling in them? How do they perceive our actions? And that's a really, really important thing. And it feels like a great responsibility, but it also gives you an incredible sense of control as much as you can over your life. Because the truth is, we can only control ourselves. And so parenting has just really shown me a different way of looking at life and showing up in life. And as I understand my responsibility to my children, it sort of made me more aware of my responsibility to my community, my family, my friends, society at large. And it has really, really sort of shaped the way I show up and participate in life. I've just been really reflective about that recently. It just made me think about how parenting has offered me a deeper understanding of life, of relationships, and just personal growth. And I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that. I'd love to know what parenting has taught you about life. What has been some profound moments in your parenting that you've taken into the wider world, and you've thought, you know what, I might not ever have thought about that had I not been a parent. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share with me, connect with me online. You can always email me at paula@accelerateempowerment.com. I would love to hear your thoughts and see how else you have been reflecting on this question. And as always, it's been so amazing spending some time with you. And thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me ramble on. I do appreciate every single one of you that listens to this podcast. When I look at my stats and I see where people are listening from all over the world, it just makes it makes my heart sing. So thank you so much for always listening and for supporting the channel and some of the emails that you send me. I just love hearing from you. So thank you so much. And I will see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.